Doctor Who is not sold out, it's just popular. Universes Beyond Doctor Who, October 13th of 2023 has just been released. That's right, Friday the 13th. And we're having some issues getting our hands on this product. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me once again on the channel today. If you're new to the channel, you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on your notification bells. I upload content every single day of the week, and we're only 630 subscribers away from the 20K party. And of course, the 20K party rules are on my main homepage. You can take a look at that video at your leisure to see what's going to happen for the 20K party and just how crazy it's all going to be. So, Doctor Who. There's a lot going on with this product, and some of it's behind the scenes that players might want to be aware of before they wonder why they can't find the product. Yes, it's sold out in a lot of areas. Depending on where you are, you might find it very difficult to get your hands on the Good Doctor. I think the Fourth Doctor is my favorite, people told me. The guy with the scarf, curly hair. Fourth Doctor, right? Leave it in the comment sections. I'll get this sooner or later. Or maybe the Daleks. I love that kind of idea. Exterminate was like the scariest thing when I was a kid. And that has brought a whole bunch of people looking to buy this product. The popularity of the IP, the idea it's a fairly well put together product, and some of the commander decks have that kind of nice, little bit of a weird kind of quirky feel that makes you think you can build off of it and kind of tweak the deck over the years to give you something really special and unique to play with. But why is it so hard to find? You think Wizards of the Coast would have set this on the right path by making sure it's readily available for everyone to buy. So why is it not available? Well, there's several reasons that are backing up this issue of the Good Doctor. Number one, stores didn't over-order. They didn't order a lot. They're afraid of being burned like they saw with Commander Masters, and they're just ordering less. Now, allocation and how much Wizards wants to actually drip into the system is another issue. They want FOMO, they want hype. They do not want the prices of these cards to collapse under any circumstance. They want to show that there is value to these decks, value to the product that they're giving you, and there's a reason to buy it. Because although the Commander decks are selling and pretty much sold out in a lot of areas I've checked, here's the funny thing. The Commander are gone. The collector boxes are still there. Now, what you've probably noticed is the collector boxes are actually at a higher price point than they were even about 10 days ago. After this set completely spoiled, we noticed a small upshift in the price for the Commander decks, but about 25 bucks Canadian when we're looking at the collector boxes. Now, for the collector box, it's interesting because if we look back a year ago to Warhammer 40K, and this was brought to my attention by a patron, a viewer, who said, isn't it interesting that when they gave us the Warhammer 40K decks, they gave us the first regular edition, then like the Surge Foil edition, right? Two types of the exact same Commander decks. But when they gave us the Good Doctor, they gave us the collector box, which means if you want to get an all foil series of this deck, you'll have to buy a lot of boxes of the collector box to try to finish off complete decks of this series. That would cost a lot of money. It almost feels like Wizards is doing a slight experiment to see if they can generate more money doing a separate Commander deck series that's all in like cool Surge Foil, confetti, rainbow, bright color stuff, or if they go the collector box and see if they sell enough to make that more justifiable. Either way, it's an interesting kind of thing to look at, that they're tweaking things to see which one sells better, and I can get behind that idea. In my opinion, that could happen. I'm not saying it is. For all you know, this was ideas and stuff that came from the economic team, or it could have just been from R&D and development saying, let's switch it up a little bit. There's a few choices of avenue of conversation for that area of the product launch. But what I found interesting is a whole bunch of players saying, it's funny, I went to buy it this weekend and it's sold out. The pre-orders are all gone and the store says I have to wait. Well, that goes back to the whole idea that this product isn't being over-ordered by your local LGS. Your LGS got burned enough, they're like, you know what, we know it's not all gone. We know from what we saw with Warhammer 40K, they did multiple printings of the product. It is at Walmart right now for like 80 bucks, okay, Canadian. You can go right now to a place like 401 or Face to Face. You can buy those Warhammer 40K decks anytime you want. So although it looks like it's sold out, and yes, the initial launch of anything like an iPhone, things can sell out quickly, that doesn't mean there's not going to be a restock. It doesn't mean you won't get a chance to play it. It means it's very popular. with a certain demographic of player who want to experience it and play it right away. They ordered early. Their orders are going to be fulfilled from what most of the stores have told me. And now you're going to have to wait a few weeks for the next wave, the next distribution launch, whatever comes along to get into the hands of players. And I'm not saying Wizards didn't do that on purpose, but in my head I go, yeah, if you don't want something to fail, you're going to do it that way. You're going to give a little bit of a tightening of the reins, and at the same time that's compounded by the fact stores didn't over order, which means the distributor just said, yeah, they're not ordering 24 boxes of this, they're only ordering 5. We better hold back too. And it just went down the chain of events to now Wizards probably has it sitting in a warehouse waiting for the next round to go, and that's fine, because this product will sell very, very well at the beginning. We can tell because it's sold out in many areas, but on the financial side of things, don't go overpaying. Don't think it's not going to be reissued. Good financial planning means knowing that there can be issues that under beyond your control, which means you have to control yourself and wait for the next wave to come along, because it will come. It definitely will. And I know this weekend I'm playing with Doctor Who, and I think, what am I playing? I'm playing Timey Wimey this weekend with some friends. He ordered all 4. We're all going to sit back and play against each other in a little 4-pack match. We'll have a good time. I'll let you know how that went. Maybe I'll get some photos and stuff for Instagram. But the overall feeling for the product seems pretty positive. I know a lot of players have actually been looking forward to getting either individual singles cards, but there's a lot of players who want those commander decks. Those standalone experiences. I have friends who bought the Warhammer 40k. I have the ones who bought the D&D decks, even from the Baldur's Gate all the way through to Dungeons and Dragons, right? Forgotten Realms. They bought them all because they want to leave them as standalone units that they can play with a group of friends, unaltered, unchanged. And that's a good idea. That means there's no tweaking, there's no unfairness. You're just playing with the decks you got, and you got to shuffle up. And that's what a lot of players have told me they're doing with the Doctor Who. They have no intention of tweaking it, where other players have told me they can't wait to tear into this stuff and see what shenanigans, what craziness they can put together. Now, when you're looking at the singles side, if you're a player out there who wants to get into the singles, you plan on either buying individual cards, there's 10 or 12 cards you want, I'm going to stick to the basic news that you should, my financial advice is you wait the 120 days, okay? The next wave is going to come along. Some will be opened. Some will just be contained and held. Some are just going to be for friends to play and hang out with. But the ones that are ripped apart by stores or by individuals hoping to, capitalize on the singles, you got to wait the 120 days for things to kind of peter out a bit, so let the excitement die down. Let Ixalan come along. Let us dive into Ravnica Remastered. Let the money move on, which means the prices will be suppressed. They'll go down lower, allowing you, if you're a singles buyer, to get into that market at a more reasonable price point. If you've waited past the date of release, you can wait the extra 90 to 120 days, give or take in there. Just keep an eye on the cards you want. Watch how the prices are going, and you'll see that waiting over time generally always will benefit the buyer, because money moves on all the time in this game. It's getting faster and faster. Wizards will be moving on to the next product right around the corner before you know it, and that means all the hype, all the attention, the spotlight turns away from Doctor Who and moves down the line. And we still have Lord of the Rings coming out. We still have another Lord of the Rings release coming, which will also probably do fairly well. And like Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who has its fan base. That fan base is built in there, and even if some of this Doctor Who product ends up sitting on shelves for years, there's always a chance down the road that some fan comes along and decides to try it out. Unlike other products, when you're looking at IP-based products, you can be an Evil Dead fan, Army of Darkness, right? You can love to have Ash there, and if somebody sees that Secret Lair sitting on a store shelf 15 years from now, they may still buy it. When you see something like Lord of the Rings sitting on a shelf 10 years from now, chances are there's going to be some sooner or later that sell. That slow trickle effect of the IP that everyone loves to get their hands on. Different generations come along, and the Doctor Who series will be no different. That doesn't mean it's going to see a spike in value and be worth tons of money. It just means with that built-in level of fan base there for the IP, you're going to see that slow trickle effect, because the show's not going to end. They'll come out with new iterations, new generations of it, just like Star Trek. I wonder if we'll get a Star Trek kind of theme set at some point. The Borg versus the Federation, the Klingons versus the Romulans. Same thing for Star Wars. It makes you wonder where it goes. But all these IPs have generational fans built in that carry it down the road onto the next generation, which means the sales for some of these products could go multi-generational depending on how it all plays out. You can't guarantee anything, but the odds are not against it. They're not like 100 to 1, it's never going to happen. I'd say it's like, 50-50. I've seen this stuff go on before. I mean, there's still people buy old Star Wars toys all the time. I've seen younger kids go out there saying, oh, I want that toy. Why? Because their parents have stuff at home or they've heard stories. That's how stuff carries on. And these types of IPs have a very long history. Long history means you have a chance of doing better in the long run. Doesn't mean they're going to go supersized. Doesn't mean they're going to triple and double in value because the price point is already so high for products like this. But it does mean there's probably enough of a fan base that some of these are going to move from individual store shelves. Just don't expect stores to over-order anymore. As I end off this video and finish this conversation, I want you guys to keep that in mind. If you don't pre-order now, the store is less likely to over-order any product, and you can't blame them. After what happened with Commander Masters, stores went out of business. Stores lost lots of money. They had to fire sell things just to keep the lights on. This has been a lesson for them. A lesson for Wizards, hopefully, and definitely a lesson for the players to understand what the companies are willing to do to generate profits, which means you can't just throw all your money in a boat and say it's going to be great. You got to make sure it's a product you care about, a product you love, you want to get your hands on. Be selective, be choosy, just like they told us to be, and it's going to be a great time playing some of these decks because, let's face it, as choosy and as picky as we're going to be, some of these decks are awesome, and they're going to be so much fun to play this weekend. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you had trouble? Have you noticed that some Doctor Who is missing from your stores? Is it already sold out on the pre-order? Or is it readily available for you to buy? What was the price point you bought it at? I want to see those comments in the comments section. Join this conversation of magic here on my channel. Look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow for the top 10, the hottest selling cards in Magic. And I wonder if some Doctor Who cards will make the list this week. Will Lord of the Rings see a resurgence, or is Wilds of Eldraine going to keep going along at a clip pace? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Have a great Doctor Who weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I will, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow for another video. Oh, and bring a friend to Magic. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons and supporters of my channel each and every day. These patrons step up and pave the way for the content you get to view every day. Thanks again to the amazing patrons. I'll see you guys this weekend for the live stream. Welcome back, guys. Cinematic Universe, you're the ones who make it to the end. You waited in line. Here we are. I can't wait. I remember one of the patrons sent me this. Spellfire, right? But that's Raceland from Dragonlance. I really hope that they give us... I was thinking about it because, we're getting the Evil Dead. Seeing this come to life on Magic card really would blow my mind, okay? It really would. I look at that and go, come on! Doesn't mean it'll happen, but I didn't think Evil Dead would happen. They're going to go back to Dungeons & Dragons at some point. But if they give us cards from this world, they better do it right. If they give me Huma Dragon's Bane, they better do all this stuff correctly. Don't give me what you did to Elminster and stuff. That was insulting. Give us a good set. That's all. I'm just pointing that out. What set would you guys like to see? I'm kind of curious. Slam some stuff down in the comments section, but you got to leave a boomstick so I know. Just so I know. No. Yes. No. Yes.